Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good day wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the next episode of No Dice, No Glory. Sponsored by our jobs that actually pay us money, we're coming to you not at all live from an abandoned arms factory deep under a mountain in West Virginia. We are proud to proffer to you the finest in wargaming coverage. Without any further ado, let's get this show on the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tales of the Sale, episode 28. These guys are laughing because I was having trouble counting to 28 before we got started. It is May as we record this, and with the good Lord willing, I will be having this edited and out before the end of the month, and that should actually catch us up and put us on pace moving forward for the rest of the year. And my summers are a lot less busy than my springs. So tonight we are joined by the regular crew. We have Glenn, the gentleman farmer, Van Meter.
Hey, everybody.
We have Tyler. I'm envious that you know more history than me, Stone.
Hey.
And I am Tom Chairborne Mullane. Still riding the same nickname that Mitch gave me when I fell off a chair 5 years ago. So we're going to talk about.
For those present, it was hilarious.
It was pretty good, I got to admit. All right, so let's talk about what we've been up to. Tyler, we will start with you. Tell us what you've been doing since we last recorded.
I haven't really had a lot of money to do things. I had to buy a new car. Bought it through Carvana. I don't recommend. That blew out most of my, like everyone has that emergency fund that sometimes you dip into because Firelock has a really cool sale going on. I don't have one of those funds right now. So what I have been doing is building terrain for the Great Swamp Fight that I think a bunch of us are going to just kind of throw together at Historicon. I think the plan is that it's going to be kind of a collaborative thing, a chance for those of us at Tales of the Sale and No Dice to get together with the guys from Blood and Pigment and get some cool photos of a really big fight. If we put it on again, we'll probably take a couple people from the audience and maybe throw you guys in. But yeah, we want to make something that's obviously very photogenic, lots of models, and kind of do similar to what we did with Perico, where we just scale up one of the Firelock scenarios.
And that brings us to Glenn. Glenn, you've also had a busy month, so tell us what you've been up to.
Work has been hectic, as always, in the drug manufacturing business. And then here on the farm, we got all the sheep sheared, which was nice. There was the biggest fiber festival on the East Coast that my wife was able to go to. It's been a lot of me watching the kids while my wife goes and does things. So I'm earning credits for later when I disappear for a week for Historicon, that kind of thing. Other than that, I've been avoiding COVID like the plague that it is. By some miracle, I haven't caught it despite getting I swear to God, twice weekly alerts from work saying that I've been exposed. I'm correctly counting the episode numbers. Apparently that's the thing.
Well, so it looks different on my end when I'm editing them and putting them in because you have to be very precise with the numbers in the system that we post the podcasts to. So for some reason, every time I open it up, it's wrong. But I thought I did it right and submitted it, and I'm like, I got this all fixed. And then I sent it over to Mitch, and Mitch is like, no, you did this all wrong.
I noticed that
yeah,
it was NDNG episode 20, not 120.
Yes. Yeah, that was probably my fault. So
all good. You're a history
I'm getting
teacher.
there. I'm getting better. So I'm finishing the school year the best way I know how, one day at a time. Me and Nigel have been talking about getting some games in down at Mythicos. I think I'm going to give them a ring. I'm going to talk to Chris Mikuchi, who does the Mythicos podcast, and see if he wants to get a demo of it as well as the two head guys. They had bought some product and they had it in the store, but I believe that they sold it all. I don't know if they've restocked. I suspect that they haven't, but I'm going to try to give them a ring. At the very least, me and Nigel are probably going to be there either the second to last weekend of June or the last week of June, and we will try to like put on a sea game for people because I have some more boats painted than I did before.
I was looking, Miguel messaged me about that, and I was checking my calendar because he asked how far out I am. You guys are going to the HQ location?
We usually go to Mawa, which is the
Yes.
northernmost location. Yeah.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I'm an hour and a half away from one of them, so I might be there.
If you're I could go to the Randolph one if it's not that bad because it's an hour and a half for me to get to Randolph. But it's like it's like 20 minutes to a half hour closer if I go to the Mawa one. But I'll go to either one. I don't mind making a longer trip as long as I'm there the whole day and I get to play more than one game. I generally don't mind making the ride because it's a great location. The people are always nice, and I've never had a bad time at Mythicos. So it's worth the trip. It's always worth the trip. We'd be looking to go probably June 25th or 26th, Saturday or Sunday. And after that, I'm free midweek whenever because my school ends on the June 24th. So I have like a long stretch of time where I have online coursework to do, but I can do that whenever I feel like doing it. So I don't need to actually show up for class anymore. So I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been spending a lot of time watching Dexter Hyde make things because so it's funny. Like I always have like 5 of the 6 things that he shows you need, and then I don't have that last thing, and it's like, ugh, like I have to go to Michael's for this. And like I also realize and acknowledge that he's a master at like repurposing simple things that happen to be lying around, and I'm sure that if I were more organized, I would easily find these things, but. And I don't know if I'm speaking for you guys when I say this, but I have a habit of forgetting I owned things and then going out and buying more of those things. So that's been what's happening a lot.
I have that with spices in my cooking cabinet.
Oh yeah. Makes sense.
Because like you, whenever I'm cooking, it's always like, oh, I need these things to make this recipe, and I start the recipe, and then like halfway through, I'm like, ah, crap, I don't have a lemon. Like. So
for me, it's always like powdered ginger, or I have like 5 things of like unground cloves, and I don't know why I keep buying them. Like, what recipe needs those?
Because that's when you take wine, put it in the crock pot, stick the cloves into an orange.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Actually.
go
you
make
also
that.
watch how to drink.
Yeah. Len, that sounds like a pirate's solution.
That's the cold weather drinking there.
One other thing that I'll mention that's sad but also nice is my grandfather passed a couple of months back, and we only had the services for him this past weekend. But one nice thing that he's basically leaving behind is a really large library of history books, and it's mostly military history from all sorts of different eras. There's even a Benderson Little book in the pile that I got when they came up to kind of to inter him and stuff like that. But it's useful because at the height of my history teacher powers, I had a library of around 200 to 250 books, and they were organized chronologically in a separate room. I had like one of because my wife and I just had a separate bedroom, and I just turned it into a giant library/office. And a lot of those books burned in an apartment fire that took out a lot of our stuff like 10 years ago, and I never had a chance to replace them. And so the fact that I'm getting to inherit like floor to ceiling history books is actually pretty cool. So I'm excited to start going through those and organizing them. I don't have a place to put them all right now because I don't have enough shelving for it, but I will also have to go down in the summer to pick up more of them because there's so much that I have to basically load up the back of my truck and bring them back up here so they can be stored in our basement as opposed to down in Virginia, which is where he was living. So that's what I've been up to, and we have a big announcement, which has already been posted in a couple of different spaces, but we're going to announce it again here to give it an extra plug. We're talking about the Summer of Plunder, The Revenge. So I'm going to let you guys take the lead on this because I would occasionally jump in with an off-color joke, but for the most part, I just sort of volunteered, saluted, and then disappeared into the fog. So Tyler, let's have you take the wheel on this and talk about what it is, and I'll have you and Glenn kind of alternate talking about these questions.
Yeah, so this is the second time we've done this, but for those of you who weren't around in 2021, What this is an online global campaign. It's very ad hoc. There's no map, there's nothing like that. You're not required to really track anything. What we do, you play games, you record those games by taking a photo, and you'll click on a link and it will take you to a Google Doc that you can report, or a form fillable page. I'm not quite sure how Joe is setting it up just yet, but you will report those games, upload your pictures, say if we are allowed to use them in articles and recaps and advertisement type stuff. We will give you credit for those games, and at the end of this whole thing, you will win prizes. It's really just a way for us to get the community out there playing games, posting games, and hyping this thing up. If you play Blood and Plunder, or if you're somehow still listening to us despite our lack of Oak and Iron coverage, if you're an Oak and Iron player, you can submit games. Unfortunately, the Blood
Carlson.
and Valor guys are left out in the cold.
Yeah, even Dan Carlson can play.
Yes.
Yeah, he forced us to include him.
I will also point out that like each of the faction people will be doing some of their own stuff. So we'll talk about them in a second. Like we gave out a lot of prizes last time, and it was very easy to get your hands on something. I made custom objectives and I mailed them out to like 10 different people, little treasure chests and stuff that had like jewels and gold spilling out of them. This time around, I'm going to be giving away some scatter terrain as well as some hills. Because thanks to Dexter Hyde, I've been building a lot more stuff than I have in the past. So I have a lot of like stone walls and like ruins, little jungle hills and things like that. So I'll make the plug for myself, and as the first captain, I'll introduce myself as the head of the Spanish faction. I'm somebody who gets the job done. Spain is an underdog in this fight, despite the fact that we have control of the majority of the Western Hemisphere during the time period of this campaign's occurrence. Don't be fooled. People will tell you that, Spain has an empire. Spain has, destroyed most of the Caribbean. Spain is hoarding all the gold for themselves. All those things are true, but that's the kind of thing that you only say if you're a whiner. So join me, join the winning team, and submit some games playing as Spain, and I can promise you glory and riches beyond your wildest dreams. I'll turn it over to Glenn to make his pitch for the Dutch.
Well, I did want to point out real quick that I think for like half of last year, Spain was losing to the minor powers.
No comment. No comment.
I think Sweden alone was like rivaling Spain for a good bit of the summer. Yeah, the Dutch. What else do I need to say? You want piracy? The Dutch can do it. We get paid to go take other people's stuff, but we're not pirates. We're privateers. So, yeah, come on and play for the Dutch. I haven't decided yet what my what the prizes I'll be giving away are, but last year I was pretty generous with prizes. I had a going reward for any pirate vessel captured. I'm considering doing that again this year, but I don't know if pirates are going to be the threat that they were last year. I might have to issue the letter of marque against a different country. We'll have to see how this goes.
So one thing I'll just kind of interject with, and I probably should have said at the top of the order before bragging about myself unnecessarily, would be the cool thing about this as a campaign system is you're really not going to be stuck playing as one faction. If you want to play your guys, if you want to play the English, the Spanish, the French, the Dutch, the natives, the pirates, or the minor powers, you can play as many games as you want and submit as many times as you want. So the goal here is just to encourage players to play games and to have those games count for something in the bigger scheme of things. Keep yourself posted, and we'll be posting like regular updates, and you'll see us kind of trash talking each other on a bunch of different sites. But each of us will usually post like hidden objectives as well. And I think at first I tried to be too clever with it last year, but then I just got really obvious, and I'm like, literally give me this. And people,
Yeah, I didn't.
and then people did.
In it.
Yeah, send me a picture with this in it, and as soon as I see that, the first one I see gets the prize. And I did give out everything, so all the prizes got claimed. I thought it was really cool, and I'm planning on doing that again. So submitting Spanish games will make you eligible for the general prizes, and Firelock has been very generous with the stuff they provided. The Blood and Pigment guys who are doing most of the coordinating. but we will be handling some prize support of our own. So each of our factions stuff. Yeah.
I am pulling up the prize list in the meantime.
I was just gonna say, like,
but
I wasn't sure if we should talk numbers, but I'm pretty sure that there's at least over $1,000 in prizes to be given out.
we can definitely talk numbers. Yeah, it's
And and I'd say the coolest part about this is, like, literally to win these prizes, you play this game and you submit a little report. Like,
Yeah, here.
that's it.
Okay,
That's it. That's all you're doing.
I'm gonna read the entry form real quick because
Go
we
for
made
it.
it super hard. Name, email address, which nation you played for. Now this is who you want to report for. Because there's a small caveat. Which faction you used? Did you complete the weekly objective? A checkbox. Can they use the pictures? A place to upload the pictures. And did you teach a new player how to play? Because you'll get extra points for teaching new people how to play the game. Now, the
Run
caveat
demos.
I mentioned was if you're playing a minor power this year, we've bumped their commander to honorary commander level because last year we had a little trouble with the minor powers gaining traction, and as an extension, the Spanish gaining traction. This year we've changed it so that minor powers get to play, but you then get to choose which major faction you want your game to count for, because during this period of time, the minor powers were flipping sides so quickly back and forth that it was hard to track. We thought about making alliances, but then we just decided that, you know what? If you're a minor power, you can just report your game for whichever major power you want to try and help out.
I will say that there was a hilarious back and forth in the campaign chat where people were trying to make historical arguments for why they should have such and such a minor nation allied to them as the major faction. And people were kind of like going off good-naturedly about it. And I would just occasionally be like, I think that they fought for Spain. I remember that happening. And then, like, I would just drop that as a nugget in the chat and just wait for somebody to, like, figure out that that was not true at all, and then tear into it. But I think this is the fairest way to do it. If you are a minor power, you get to pick where you throw your coins, basically. So we'll all make our plugs for you, and we'll see who we can convince to toss the most games their way. So to kind of run down the, I'm sorry, France. Is France still a country? France should be part of the Spanish crown. All right. Anyway, you've got. We're gonna go through. Actually, Tyler, make your pitch first. Tyler, you need a chance. So, Tyler, tell us about the French and your aspirations. For
and your beautiful white flag.
It doesn't have to be white; it can be blue. Listen, you. All right. See, Glenn already did it because he knows this is how this works. For France, we've been in more wars than anyone in Europe, and we've won most of them. Pretty much all of them. Like, we're France. Spain pretends to have an empire. We're France. Whenever, King Charles down there in Spain kicks the bucket, we're France. It goes to Louis's grandson. So we're going to own all of Spain anyway. So you may as well, if you're Spanish, just report your games for France. It's okay. You can just type it in. They're not going to check. So report all of your games for France because they gave all the minor powers to everyone else, unless they report to us. I was the one in the chat arguing for anyone to love France because historically it's everyone versus us. It's
happened at least once. It's in every case.
Yeah. Look, the time period that the campaign is going on and like that Blood and Plunder and Raise the Black are going to be covering, it's a rough 20 years to be French.
Hey, I pointed out your very staunch ally.
Sweet. I don't remember who that was.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. All right, so
I'm not being ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, so again, we will have a lot of articles about this coming up. Tyler has one that's being published next week, probably in conjunction with this podcast, assuming that I've been able to get it out properly and edited. And all you have to do is get your stuff painted up or not. You can submit stuff with unpainted stuff, but we're not going to be likely to post cool pictures of it. Teach a new player some games, and then hit the submit report. And just doing that is going to make you eligible to win a lot of free stuff. So I'm
To
going to
be
go down the
clear,
run.
we did. I just want you to understand. We did have a lot of photos come in last year of people playing like silver figures on a wooden table with textbooks for hills. Like it's fine.
Counts.
That's fine.
Acceptable.
It counts. Like
Games are
Tom
games,
said,
man.
you might not make the front page with your awesome pictures, but your game counts, and we'll still ship you prizes.
Anybody else? So
And
yeah, I
before we
get
go
I get
on,
prizes to Silver Surfers.
before we go on, I'm not going to cover the whole list because it's a long list, but the prizes are pretty awesome. So some of the highlights: every faction commander is going to be painting up a character to send out to one random winner who has played at least one game in their faction. Again, fight for France. I paint good. Also, the grand prize, so a random player from the winning faction will get their choice of a Firelock Galleon or Sixth Rate. Also in the prize pool, your choice of a Benderson Little Book signed by the author.
Hold on, I feel like we need to point out that the value of that ship practically doubles because it comes with a set of Siemens quality sails, which aren't those the sails that guys
Tyrurk does, yeah.
yeah. They are high quality sails. There's a lot of effort in those things.
We've got books signed by Benderson Little. They're giving away a fully painted stone tower fort, some genuine 17th century coinage. There's the rule book in there, some Winsor and Newton brushes, and then Nigel and I are teaming up to give away for the best painted commander mini. We're going to do a little character vignette of a commander having his portrait painted. So you'll get a named character for your faction, as well as a little scenic stand to display him on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. There's so
That's not
it's
even all of it, and it's none
it's
of
not
the
even
weekly
yeah,
challenges. Yeah.
it's not even close. And I have to say, like, we had pretty good participation last year, but still, like, it wasn't as much as we're hoping for this year. And we have like twice as much prize support as we did last time. So the odds of you getting your hands on something are very high, and the amount of effort you need to put into getting that stuff is very low. So we can't express to you enough how much we're really excited to have you guys participate in this. I'm going to really give you a quick rundown of just who you could possibly play for and who's in charge of that faction, and you'll see some personal pleas from these people later on. So obviously, uh, I am the chair of the Spanish faction. Tyler is the head of the French faction. Glenn is the head of the Dutch faction. However, some of our other celebrity guests would be head of the English is Dexter Hyde, master of YouTube and terrain builder extraordinaire.
Known from the Plunder Den.
Correctamundo. Heading the Native American tribe is my game buddy, Nigel Vega, combo seeker and power gamer. If you're looking for a way to build a killer list, he's the guy to talk to. Pirate.
I feel like we need to throw in an asterisk. Legality may be questionable.
No, I believe as far as I'm aware, he's been on board and on the up and up. So
I agree with
we're
that.
good to go. We're good to go.
No,
All right.
he's good. He's good.
He certainly made me a better player, like for sure, because I would
He
not
made you
have.
learn the rules.
He made me learn the darn rules, man. And Nigel is never unfair. Because we've had disagreements about it before. And he's like, I don't know, and I'm like, I don't know either, and we'll look it up and try to figure it out. And so he's a great guy to play with. He really is.
Cue Glenn and Tyler getting random text messages in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, do you know what the rule is? The pirate commander, Oak and Iron player, and sometime Blood and Plunder player, Dan Carlson, who is Blackbeard's spiritual heir.
I wonder if anybody can get the checkbox for introducing a noob when they play him.
Yeah, that's good call. Wow, we really just ragging on Dan.
That's okay.
And
you can take it.
in charge of the minor power and kind of our honorary Steed Bonnet member of the commanding faction is Guy Ruark, rigging expert, master of video, and production of Blood and Pigment. And I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that the overall Generalissimo coordinator of this is Joe Forrester over at Blood and Pigment and the whole crew there. So he will be the puppeteer behind the scenes who's kind of processing entries and helping to dole out all the prize support and stuff. So this is going all summer, and we're going to be bugging you about it more than once, but we will start to see posts from us and from Blood and Pigment. Brings us to your tournament. And so, Glenn, I'll let you talk about that since it's down in your neck of the woods. Tell us about your upcoming tournament in June.
All right. So I think from the way it's going, it's just going to be me and friend of the show who shall not be named. We're running a C tournament, Borders Without Doctors. It's going to be 200 points. It's going to be at Critical Hit Games, like the last one was. Store opens at 11. We want to be rolling by 11:30. We're planning 2-hour rounds. Anybody can play with a list from any of the books that are released so far. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, we have a tournament packet. We're still working on it, but hopefully it'll be out by the time this episode is. We finally picked which 3 missions we're going to be using. Tyler, what am I forgetting? I'm sure there's...
So I'm typing up the tournament packet right now.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
where to
going
sign
be
up?
Posted June 11th, and you need to sign up by emailing us.
Yes, those are important details.
I might also be there. If I am not there, it is because it is sunny and warm, and I will be day drinking.
I will not be there because it's graduation, I believe. So I'm stuck being in a robe and wizard hat.
At least you have all the cool colors for being masters, right?
Bingo. No, actually, I have the color I don't like. I have to wear teal. I
Ew.
don't like teal.
not
So like
terrible.
the Education Masters is like this like yucky light blue color. I don't want that. I want like purple for like the law, or like scarlet. I forget. History is like, I don't remember what color history is.
I think chemistry's scarlet.
Chemistry, physical sciences are yellow. Scarlet
that
might
makes
be divinity. Like one of my friends had a divinity
Theology kind of
master's.
stuff.
Theology,
Okay.
yeah.
None of the pirates are wearing this stuff, though.
No, they're not. They'd be wearing like a cape or a hat or whatever. I'm totally gonna look this up and find it out afterwards. That like I'm wearing the wrong color. Since my college is so small, there's also colors that go with the college for the masters, but they always get me the wrong color. So it's always like this like turd colored brown, and like that's not my college's colors.
I want to see a photo of you in this just so I can Photoshop it to say, you're a wizard, Thomas.
I will send one to you just for this purpose. So plans for Historicon. Let's have the rundown. Tyler, go ahead and just walk us through this really fast. What the plan is. We'll get into more detail later.
Did you guys clear out? I think you guys cleared it out of the show notes, the actual dates of the games. So it is Historicon, upcoming event. So it's going to be July 20th through the 24th. It's going to be close to my hometown, so it'll be in Lancaster this time around at the Host, I believe.
No, it's it's at the downtown
Convention Center.
Yeah, the big convention center downtown. Right. The nice one, not the Rat's Nest. Good, I said the Host.
We're booking. I think we're at Host for Fallen.
And the tournament schedule for that, since we are doing the Iron Man once again, is going to be Oak and Iron and Blood and Valor will be run on Thursday, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening.
Blood and Valor got moved to Friday.
Okay. Do you have it up then? Do you have the list? Because I think I'm running off an old list.
All right, so Oak and Iron is on Thursday. We're doing 50 points, 90-minute rounds. Moving on to Friday, I believe Blood and Valor is in the morning, 150 points, 60-minute rounds. Blood and Plunder Land Tournament, Friday afternoon, evening, 150 points also, 90-minute rounds. And then Saturday, we're going to wrap everything up with, I think, starts at noon, a Blood and Plunder C tournament. If you complete 3 of the 4 tournaments, you are eligible for the Iron Man prize.
And then we have some themed games, which we mentioned briefly at the top of the podcast. But these are going to be things that are not listed, I believe. We're just going to be playing these.
Correct. These will be
As
things that happen if they happen.
Don't look in the Pell. They're not there.
They're not there. So if you come and talk to us at any of these tournaments, we will kind of clue you in. But we're going to use our tournament space to kind of run these games when we have free tables available.
Yeah, go to the tournament bookings, find out where we are located for the tournaments, and that is where we will be throwing these things during the tournament off hours.
Yeah, and the 3 of us will just be hanging out there all day. So I'm sure that we're going to be rotating who's running demos and stuff like that. So, we'll be around. We'll be easy to find.
From my understanding, we're going to be like front and center of the tournament area right next to the vendor hall.
Yes, we will have ample table space. If there is not a tournament currently going on, you are more than welcome to use that table space for open gaming. If there is a tournament going on, we might still have some Firelock open gaming available. Yeah, please don't show up and play like bolt action on our tables. Not that there's anything wrong with bolt action. But that is
But if you're playing
also
bolt action,
in that
we want
space
that.
where we'll be running the Great Swamp Fight, so you can come and hang out with us and Blood and Pigment. We're going to try, because everyone always asks, we're going to try to put on a big sea game that may involve multiple galleons. We can rope Joe into that. You'll get to see him run one aground, because I don't think he does anything else with them.
It's the role he was born to play.
I thought that's why galleons existed.
Yeah, they exist to be robbed by Dutch flutes. I'm bringing my lucky duck with me. All right, so with that said, we'll give one more kind of rundown at the bottom of the hour here, but we're going to go into trivia time and give away some prizes. So I was the author of this last question, so I'll read this, and then Tyler will read the next one. So we made a plug. We got a couple of last-minute answers, and I'm going to go ahead and read this. So the prize available to the winner is 1 blister of Niasis and one of the new War Chief models. The question from last month. From Fire on the Frontier, in 1675, word reached the New England colonists that a local hostile tribe was fortifying their position in a great swamp as a possible preparation for war. In response, the colonists sent a large surprise raid to stop them. The Great Swamp Fortress was eventually conquered because it had 2 weaknesses which the attackers exploited. What were they? Now, there were a couple of answers. Almost everybody got the first part of it right, and there's a bunch of people that were real close or said something that made historical sense, but it wasn't precisely what we were looking for. So the correct answer, the swamp was frozen in the winter, which means that it could be crossed on foot. And the second part, there is a gap in the palisade fortress where they had not finished building, which meant that they could get in. It's possibly because the ground was too frozen and they hadn't finished construction before that was the case. But just mentioning that it was cold wouldn't have been enough. And there were a few people that were awfully close. So there were 6 fully correct winners. I'm obligated, because he's my archenemy, mostly out of jealousy that Brian Reed got it wrong. And there are 6 people that we have to roll from, and the winner is going to be, so I get my die ready, Nicholas McDonald is the winner. Oh no, where's Nicholas from?
I could be wrong. I feel like it's Australia.
Nice! Man, we
Oh,
need to have
God.
Tom stop rolling for these.
You really do. It's a bad mistake for everybody involved. Well, Nicholas, you got it right. We will be in contact with you, and we will make sure that gets shipped out ASAP. I don't think we'll talk about it after. So that brings us to this time. So Tyler, go ahead and take it away. This is your question. It's a good one.
Yeah, so the rules. We want to cover that first or question first?
Rules first.
Rules first. All right, so the rules. With the correct answer, email talesofthesail, SAIL, at gmail.com before the next time we record to be eligible for a prize. The question. In June of 1667, the English and Dutch were involved in negotiations to bring a close to the Second Anglo-Dutch War. In hopes of ending the war definitively and with favorable terms for the Dutch, Admiral Michel de Ruyter was dispatched with top-secret orders for a surprise raid on the Chatham dockyards along the River Medway. In an attack unequaled until the Japanese raid on Pearl Harbor 274 years later, de Ruyter was able to capture or burn 3 English capital ships, 10 ships of the line, and tow away the flagship of the Royal Navy. In their panic, the English would scuttle a further 30 ships, either as block ships or to prevent their capture. What was the name of the captured English flagship, and ultimately, what would be its fate? This is a 2-part answer, so you need the name and what happened to it after it was captured.
Right. And just as a reminder, You email the answers to talesofthesale@gmail.com before we record next time. And we will post a warning when you've got a day or two left. So if you haven't gotten around to emailing us or listening to the episode, that'll be your reminder and your opportunity. Len, I'll let you take the news and upcoming events.
Well, the news of upcoming events is Tom gets to learn how to ship to Australia now instead of Norway.
You
I checked.
Australia
figure
is
it out.
worse. Australia is worse. My last package successfully arrived in Norway. He was nice enough to let me know on several platforms that it had arrived, and I feel terrible because I didn't acknowledge it because I was so busy prepping for the AP exams. I didn't check any social media stuff. I didn't check Discord at all because I had kids causing problems on Discord. So because I run a club server on Discord for the high school, so I had the whole thing just turned off. But he let me know as soon as it arrived. And he said next time we need to find a better way to get a $20 prize to Norway instead of spending $70 shipping it. And I was like, I agree, but a promise is a promise. So today I get to figure out how to deal with Australian customs.
We'll talk offline about it because
We'll figure it out later, yeah. But it's
yeah,
fine. It's
Nicholas
awesome.
we've already sent stuff to him before, so
Okay, and if there's a store in the area, that's the way to go. If they have product down there.
yeah,
Okay,
we'll get it figured out. So
figure it
again, no matter where you live in the world,
Got
we
you.
will get you whatever you need. It's just us ragging on Tom about.
All right, so I'll mention A, and then I'd say Tyler go B, and then Glenn go C, and we'll just go down the line. So,
Sure.
Ooh, I have to give
upcoming
bad
events news: Firelock is offering 20% off Blood and Plunder and Oak and Iron until May 30th. So this should be coming out within that time frame. In which case, your time is running out as you listen to this. To grab some Oak and Iron ships and to grab some more stuff to prep your faction for battle. For the upcoming Summer of Plunder campaign.
All right. So the next piece of news, also a sale. Not as great news. Foreground, guys who make the Ports of Plunder terrain, lots of the really cool laser cut stuff that folks have been building. They are closing down. You have until June 30th to make good on their closing sale. They promise that they will fulfill any orders that come in up until that deadline. They did say that because they are closing, people have been putting in bulk orders and it's slowing things down. So fulfillment might take a bit. But if you haven't grabbed the Ports of Plunder stuff, we are not sure if anyone is going to be picking those up and continuing that line. So you may want to grab them now. And even if someone does continue the line, they're on sale right now. So go and grab them. You have until the 30th of June.
Get it on clearance.
All right, Jason Klotz, big fan of Oak and Iron. Apparently, was enough of a fan to start a Oak and Iron fan site, timberandsale.com. Now, Tyler, is that the AND or the ampersand?
It is AND.
So timberandsale.com. Okay, cool. I've been there. It does look awesome. I don't get to play much O&I, so I didn't get to really get the full experience, but it looks like an excellent resource for anybody who is really into O&I. Might give Blood and Pigment a run for their money as far as
Oak and Iron stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. He's done a lot of work on it, so I'm excited to go check it out.
He's also got some fan rules on there if you want to run like some of the fantasy stuff. I think he's got rules up for some ghost ships.
See, there you go.
Reviews of all the ships that are in the game. He hit the ground running. It's not like a new blog with one post. He has a lot of material on there.
Yeah, he put prep in ahead of time.
Also coming up, Northcom Armor Club's glorious 1st of June battle in Merrill, Wisconsin is going to be happening on May 30th at Diecast Game and Hobby. So if you are in the Wisconsin area and you're looking to get in an awesome battle, then go and check them out. Northcom Armor Club. Tyler, just throw the Historicon dates out there.
So, like I mentioned earlier, Historicon is running from July 20th through the 24th. Tournaments will be happening Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll be there the whole time. Come and join us. We'll have some open gaming, some demos, and hang out with us. We like to see you guys.
I don't know if we said it before, but if you are interested in one of those tournaments, send us a sign-up email, talesofthesale@gmail.com.
I'll have a formal post in June that lists all of the kind of PEI stuff and like just letting you know the process for signing up, because I did that last time where I kind of previewed each of the tournaments, and I'm going to do it again and do a lot of advertising for it. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Mythicos, New Jersey. I will be there on Saturday, June 25th. Would be the date I'm committing to. Me and Nigel will both be there. We'll probably be running a C game, but I'm able to run demos, and we'll see how many people we can get pop in for just kind of a day of gaming. So I'll advertise for it again coming up on the site, and also we'll record before then, so you'll hear me talk about this more than once. But Mythicos, June 25th. And then, Glenn, you have your tournament.
Yep, June 11th. So we probably won't have a podcast out before that, although one might drop the week before. I don't know. But this will probably be the last instance you'll hear about it. Yeah, Critical Hits, June 11th. Pretty much same deal as last time with the LAN tournament we just did. Look forward to seeing everybody there. Hopefully we'll get a big turnout, and we'll get a good handle on how C tournaments will go, because this is the first time we're doing one in a while.
And the last thing that I'll plug, we don't have it in the show notes, but I feel like it'll make the boss man happy. We are trying to make sure that we have more steady content on the main blog over at No Dice, No Glory. So a lot more articles. I've got some evergreen stuff that I'm pumping out. So things that you can read anytime that'll apply to you, how to win Blood and Plunder games. I just did a tournament or an article recently on how we set up our tournaments, in case you missed the last podcast. We'll be writing plenty of stuff about the summer campaign. So if you've only been hanging out there to find our podcast, keep an eye open, because we'll have some articles on there as well.
And on the website, our day to publish is usually a Monday. So they typically our schedule on No Dice is that Monday is Firelock if we have it. Oak and Iron, Blood and Plunder, Blood and Valor, whatever. Wednesdays are usually for Flames of War or Battlefront, and then Fridays are kind of Friday's usually Battlefront, and Wednesday's kind of in the middle. Sometimes Warlord, sometimes other stuff. So we're winning the battle right now in terms of the number of articles that are coming out. Firelock, it's going to be a busy month for us, so expect to see a lot more writing from us. June's going to be exciting. We got a lot of stuff going on. So we will keep you posted. And Glenn, go ahead and take us out.
All right, everybody. Well, as always, thanks for coming. Can't do it without you. Thanks for listening. And we can't wait to talk to you again next month.
Thanks so much for joining the show tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter at No Dice, No Glory. And keep the conversation going on NoDiceNoGlory.com, now featuring our own message boards. Have a great night, everybody.